Okay, so this is what I can see as I open the box. I can see a little glimpse of things and I'm excited. This is how it comes presented. It looks really cute. I love the little postcard. Let's have a read. Congratulations, you've uncovered 4 hidden gems and saved 4 amazing books from being lost forever. Happy reading. So the first book is Fearsome Dreamer by Laura Eve. Now, I've actually heard of her. I've never read one of her books because I think it's really high fantasy and that isn't usually the kind of book that I'd go for, but she is a really well-known YA author. So let's have a look what this book's about. There is a world where gods you've never heard of have wound themselves into hearts, and the choice has led its history down a different path. Here, a fiercely independent country called Angletar holds its own against the mass of technology-advanced nations that is world. High fantasy. Apprentice Hedwige Vila Rue had strange dreams all her life, vivid and mysterious and incredibly real. Now she knows that her dreams mean something more, that she has a talent, and that her government will do anything to train her in it. White is a teenage boy whose unbelievable gifts force him to flee from the fiercely unforgiving world to Angletar. There he is taken under the wing of Frith, a government spy who sees him as a prodigy, perhaps even the ultimate weapon they have been waiting for. But Frith has his own secret motives, and when Rue and White meet, their electric attraction may spell disaster, or change everything. Okay, so that does actually sound pretty good, but as I say, I'm not a massive fantasy fan, so I'm not sure if I would read this. If you like fantasy, this would be perfect. The next one is Birdie by Jess Valance. Now, the cover says 2 friends, 1 obsession, and instantly I am intrigued. This sounds like a thriller. Thriller YAs are my favourite. Let's have a read. Frances Bird has been a loner for so long that she's given up on ever finding real friendship. But then she's asked to show a new girl around school, and she begins to think her luck could finally be changing. Eccentric, talkative, and just a little bit posh, Alberta is not at all how Frances imagined a best friend could be. But the 2 girls click immediately, and it's not long before they are inseparable. Frances could not be happier. As the weeks go on, Frances finds out more about her new best friend, her past, her secrets, her plans for the future, and she starts to examine their friendship more closely. Is it perhaps just too good to be true? This sounds exactly like the kind of book that I love. And the font is good. I mean, I struggle with really small font, and this font is good. And short chapters, again, a bonus for me. Okay, so that one does sound actually really good. I'm really excited for that one. Let's go into the next one. The next one is Tessa in Love by Kate Levan. This doesn't look like a YA book. I'm not sure. I'm going to read the blurb and see how I feel. Tessa has always been the quiet one, while her best friend Mattie is outgoing and constantly has boys flocking around her. But when Tessa falls in love for the first time at 16, everything changes. Tessa finds a soulmate in Wolfie, a committed green activist, and she grows more confident and outspoken every day. She also begins to look at the world differently. But just when their love is at its strongest, tragedy strikes. How will she ever be able to cope? Okay, this actually sounds so much better than I thought it was going to. This sounds really good. Definitely YA. I've just had a look and it looks like it's really easy to read. These are the kinds of books that I love to dip into when I'm not in a particularly reading mood, but I do want to read something to push myself back into reading. And because this is quite short, it looks really easy to read. This is exactly the kind of book I need at the moment, because I have been in a real reading slump since The Mask Falling. So literally since my last video, which I did a review of The Mask Falling, I haven't been able to read anything. So this is the kind of thing I want to get into next. The last book in this box looks super exciting. It's in a slipcase. Look at it. It's very Christmassy. Oh, this cover is beautiful. Called Maggot Moon by Sally Gardner. I have never actually heard of this book or this author. And oh my goodness, I have just opened it and it is signed and it says issue 1113 of 1500. So this is obviously a limited edition one, which is amazing. I'm trying to find a blurb and I can't find one. I'm gonna get one up on my phone, but even just quickly looking through this book and looking at the cover, I feel like it's gonna be a book that is gonna break my heart. Let's see if I can confirm that. Okay, I've got the synopsis. It says, a starkly original and heartbreaking tale of friendship and rebellion. I knew that this was going to be sad just by looking at that front cover. Narrated against the backdrop of the ruthless regime determined to beat its enemies in the race to the moon, Maggot Moon is the stunning new novel from Sally Gardner. When his best friend Hector is suddenly taken away, Standish Treadwell realises that it is up to him, his grandfather and a small band of rebels to confront and defeat the ever-present oppressive forces of the motherland. Utterly original and stunning, it is impossible not to be moved by Maggot Moon's powerful story and the unforgettable heroism of Standish. Now it's in a font specially developed for dyslexic readers. I'm not dyslexic, but when I read books designed for dyslexic readers, they are so much easier to read. There's an imprint, I can't remember who it is. All of their books are published in dyslexic friendly font and they are just a dream to read. Everything is so much easier. Sorry about any spoilers if you can see them, but this looks like a really easy book to read and it's short chapters. And this is actually the one that I'm most excited for, not because it's signed limited edition and looks a bit Christmassy and goes in my jumper, but it just sounds very different. And I will say that about all the books included. They're all YA, but they're all completely different. So there was one high fantasy, one that seemed more like a classic, one that was a thriller, and then that one. So I feel like it was a really diverse box. Although the first book wasn't one that I'd particularly read, the other three I will definitely 100% be reading. So I feel like there's something for everyone each box, and I'm really excited for that last one, I've got to say. The last two seem like really easy reads, and the thriller one I'll probably read that really quickly anyway, because once I start a thriller I can't usually put it down. So these are the 4 books that we got. I am actually really happy with this box.